everybody, it's John, your Indian Cine-Maniac, back with another 10ish-minute review. Okay, I'm excited about this. I saw E.K. the Tiger, and now I am watching Tiger Zinda High, which was 2017. And again, I mentioned this on my last review, Dobie Got. After this, tomorrow, I am going to see Tiger 3 in the movie theater. I'm real excited about that. So because of that, I'm going to try something different on this episode. I'm going to do the 10ish-minute review of the film, and then I'm going to do a trailer reaction to Tiger 3. And I'm going to try to do it in a way that I don't take a copyright hit. So stick around for that in the second half, okay? So again, this is Tiger Zinda High, 2017, directed by Ali Abbas Zafar, part of the Yash spy universe, the second in the Tiger trilogy, starring Salman Khan, Katrina Kaif, looking as beautiful as ever, Anupriya. I don't think I get the last name here. She was in War and Padmavat. Paresh Rawal, who was in OMG, Jihad Delafruz, who was in Baby, who plays the bad guy, and he's very good. Grish Karnd, who was his boss in the first Tiger and his boss in this one. And, you know, in the film, he's on oxygen, and what I read was he was pretty sick and needed the oxygen. It wasn't a character thing. So, all right, so let's talk about this film, okay? I love these action films because the action is so over the top. And the thing I liked about this film versus the first one, where the first one spent a lot of time developing the relationship between Salman Khan's character and Katrina Kaif's character, you know, Pakistani spy, Indian spy. So there wasn't nearly as much action. There's a lot of action in this film, and it's great. The fight choreography is excellent. So just a little, we'll do a little synopsis because I want to keep it because I'm doing the trailer reaction. This is based on a true story about nurses that were held hostage by ISIL. So that's how it kicks off with that event, and that's what brings Tiger back because no one can save them. And then the boss says, "There is one man, Tiger," and he goes, "Tiger's still alive?" Yeah. So they got to go get him. They start the movie with the introduction of the bad guy, who I liked. He wasn't an over-the-top, I'm going to twirl my mustache villain. He was very calm, never raised his voice. I thought he was effectively creepy. Well, the opening scene is they behead somebody who they believe is a CIA agent. They don't show it, but, you know, he's kneeling, the knife, it was not good. So then, now they got to introduce Tiger. And you know how these introduction goes with these guys. He's on the mountain. All you see is the boots. And then you see him and his kid, Junior. And what's funny about this scene is a wolf is going to attack them. Which is, you know, okay, maybe up in the mountains that could happen, right? So he's got to save his kid. Well, now it's a pack of wolves. That's right. It's a real threat. So he sends the kid down the hill by himself while he tangles with the wolf pack. Then the kid gets stuck in a hollow tree. So Tiger's got to go on a, what do you call those things? A snowboard. And his snowboard, it's a really cool scene. I mean, it really is cool. And the wolves look real. You know, it doesn't look like CGI, but there was a disclaimer that no animals were hurt on this film. So I was happy to see that. So that's his introduction. And then you get the whole scene with the wife, and he forgot her anniversary. So in remembrance of it, they do this great song that I don't know the name of it, Dilly something, but whatever the song was, the love song. I read that it had 1.5 million streams within 24 hours of being released. So it was a beautiful song. I happen to like the song in the end credits, but I'll get to that later on. So basically, it's the story of how Tiger comes back because his love of country gets him back into the game, and the plan to free the hostages. Now, the other thread throughout this movie, and it was pretty heavy-handed the way they did it, And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but they're, Pakistan and India are at war with each other. And in this film, they have to work together. And that's a theme throughout this movie about how important it is for two people who are enemies to work together, like Salman Khan and Katrina Kaif's character. So there's a lot of that. And there's a lot of that throughout the movie. Also, a lot of it is blamed on the US because of our policies. And I will also say this about these movies. The people they have playing Americans, I don't know if they're American or not. I doubt it, but they're always the worst actors. Okay. The way they deliver the lines are terrible. And this was no difference. They were awful, awful, awful. Okay. So whatever. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But the Pakistani India stuff, again, the creators of this film, maybe Khan himself, are trying to say that, we should be spending money not on war, but on education and, food and medicine, all that stuff, it's a beautiful sentiment. I don't disagree with it. And it's funny because it's pretty, it's right spot on with what's going on in the world right now with Pakistan and Israel. So so it had a little more meaning than it probably normally would have had. But for Indian and Pakistanis, I can imagine that this must have been a big deal when this film came out. And I know this film was a monster hit. But anyway, so that's all I'm gonna say about that. So you meet Junior, and he says, at one point when the wolf shows up, he says, "Oh shit," and he goes, "Where'd you learn that?" He goes, "Ma," and then Khan goes, "Oh shit." I thought that was funny. Then he quotes Bhagat Singh, the revolutionary, and says, "Join the revolution," which ultimately is what Khan does. So he assembles a team, his guys, and the one thing they do a lot is they do these slow motion walks. You know the ones I'm talking about. You see them in all the Expendables. You see it in all these. Sing them. You see them in all these movies. The heroes walk slowly. They did that a couple of times. A lot of slow motion in this film. A lot of slow motion. There's a great action scene where a little boy is wearing a suicide vest, and Khan figures it out. And at one point, he's looking at the boy, and it turns into Junior. And that whole scene is really, really well done. The action scenes. So I really like that. There's another scene when so they work in an oil. I don't need to get into the details of it, but they work in an oil refinery to get into the hospital. It's a pretty elaborate plan that they come up with. Well, it ends up the hospital is now a base for all the terrorists. So there's like so many soldiers around that this plan isn't quite working the way they thought it would. So at one point, Salman Khan and Katrina Kaif get caught. And by the way, his wife ends up saving him in a, he's surrounded, and it looks like that's it. And she ends up saving the day, which was, it was cool. You wondered how he's going to get out of it. So then there's this scene where, and I didn't understand this one, so maybe you guys can explain it to me. They're captured, and the bad guy comes in and has these big canisters of poison gas. He opens them up, and the stuff is just spraying into the room. And there's Salman Khan and Katrina Kaif just sitting there. They pull Kaif out of the room. They're going to put it in another room. And Khan's in this room while all the gas is going all over the place. Now, does he survive? What do you think? It's Tiger. Nothing's worse than a wounded tiger. That's from the film. So it was a cool looking scene. And then when they come in to get his body, and all you see is fog everywhere, he comes out with a little scarf across his face that protected him, no shirt on, and he's beating everybody up, which I thought was great. Great action scene. So now, by the way, the whole predicate of why they're trying to get in there is the U.S. military is going to bomb the hospital within 7 days of the start of this film. So everyone's going to die. So that's why they have to get the Indian nurses and the Pakistani nurses out of there. Overall, this film, I really enjoyed it. I loved the action. Even my wife watched again half of it because she wasn't here for the first half, and she loved it. And the music was great. I really I love that theme music they got for him. It was much more serious than the first Tiger, which was a little tongue in cheek for most of the movie. This was not. It was dark, and there's a couple deaths in it. That is stark. But it was much more serious. And because, again, I guess because it's based on a true story. And the conclusion where he finally gets the bad guy, I thought it was all right. Because this bad guy, they've been building him up the whole movie, and he's pretty bad. And he comes in and wails on Khan, hits him over the head with something. Khan gets up and boom, boom, boom. He's stabbing the guy all over the place. That was it. That was the fight. So yeah, it was okay. And then they lead you to believe, just like the other film, that him and his wife died in an explosion. And they flash forward a year later, and of course, there's Khan on the phone. If India needs me, I'll be alive. Because right now they think he's dead. So I thought the cast was great. His team, the one guy, the electronics expert, was funny. He's always praying to the Lord when anything would happen. There's another guy that's kind of smarmy who runs the oil refinery, who ends up, and I'm spoiling this. So I mean, it was 2017. I'm sure all of you have seen it. It was such a big hit. But the guy who you think's a real slimeball, he ends up being a member of Raw, and he knows all the password 222222. So I thought he was really funny. But yeah, I mean, I think I gave Tiger 3 Ladoos. I'm going to give this one 4 Ladoos because I love the action. And I'm looking forward to Tiger 3 because I hear they ramp up the action even more. And look, I get that when you go to these movies, especially like Sing'em, the Sing'em series, in this series, everybody defies gravity. They're superhuman. Because look, the reality is that the terrorists, the bad guys, have no idea how to shoot their weapons, because there's 50 of them shooting at Khan and nobody hits them. That was in the first movie. It's in the second movie. Oh, I also want to say Katrina Kaif does a fight scene. And I read a lot of the reviews that said it was a double. And maybe it was, but there was a lot of times where it certainly looked like her. So unless they get someone who looks exactly like her. And I will also say they glammed her down quite a bit. The scene in their house on the mountain, she wore this nice dress for her anniversary. That was the glamour she was. The rest of the movie, she was not. She was in her fatigues. At one point, she gets beat up and she's bloody and her hair is all straggly until the end credits dance number, which she is smoking. Okay. Yeah, I watched the whole end credits dance number because I'm a big fan. She's such a good dancer. I've said this before. She's an all right actress. She's a very good dancer. And their chemistry, they have great chemistry together too. So you can buy into that relationship. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. So now I'm going to do a trailer reaction. It's got to get you to subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and share. Guys, I really appreciate you watching. I appreciate the comments and the suggestions. I really do. It's so fun to do these, and it's fun, the back and forth. So I want you to know how much I appreciate it, and I hope you keep watching. Thanks a lot, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon.